What's going on, everybody? Jay Hunter Lee here. Thank you for joining our Monday Motivational Power Talk. This is the time where we can do it and we don't have to make up for it for another day in this week. So very proud of that. We're going to get to it. Doesn't seem like we have class tonight for school. So this gives me that time, folks, with you guys. And we getting ready to get into our topic today. So you guys ready? Let's get it. Well, if it's going to be, it's up to me to fulfill my dreams and possibilities with dedication and motivation to inspire thousands from all nations. When times are tough and breaks you down, just smile with toughness and rebuild from the ground. During tough times, adversity is a lot. Just remember, time flies, but you are the pilot. Good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for stopping through. This is our Monday Motivational Power Talk. We try to do this each and every Monday, normally 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, until I finish school January the 26th. Then we'll be back on schedule for 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays. This week, we're a little later in doing it because it doesn't appear we have class tonight. Have not heard from our professor tonight, but we do have a project that we're working on to end this last run of class. So I'm very excited about my cybersecurity class, looking to get some contracts. I got some people in my corner to help me get ready to be in the schedule to get some subcontracts in cybersecurity for my company, my cybersecurity firm. Very excited about it. I'll probably take on a little job early on just to get my feet wet before I get my own contract, before those contracts roll in, or whichever one's first. If the contracts come first, I'm getting contracts. I'm going to be doing some hiring, bringing in presidents, people who have IT backgrounds, who know how to set up infrastructure or hierarchies for IT firms. I'm going to bring all those people in once we can get those contracts done for cybersecurity. So I'm very excited about it. We are starting to slowly move again on our other project overseas to build a city over in Libya, extended over the Mediterranean Sea over into Crete Island, Greece. Excited about that. That project has started to redevelop again, not redevelop, but pick back up because we had a major delay with that due to the pandemic and the laws overseas and who can get tested, all this kind of stuff, which is not my responsibility, by the way. But I'm very proud to know that we're starting to move slowly in the slow momentum, getting that back on track, which is up to those folks over there, the government over in Libya, Greece, all of that. That's something that they have to work out. So, folks, what I want to do today is talk to you about something that's very, very important, and it's called leadership, but not in a way that most people talk about leadership. I want to talk about leadership in regards to a movie I saw called American Underdog. Let me talk to you guys about American Underdog. I want to say hello to the Facebook user. I don't know who you are. You can state your name. I would greatly appreciate that because I would like to greet you in a better way than just saying Facebook user. But I do appreciate you coming out. And I do want to shout out those who are watching right now. I see folks on Twitch who is watching as well. Thank you guys on Twitch for coming through. Thank you guys who's watching on YouTube and LinkedIn. I see one person so far just joined on LinkedIn. Now, I do have the Facebook user who popped up. The reason why they says Facebook user is because they're watching in one of my groups called Tampa Bay Friends and Events. And if you're watching from the group, you will have to, there's a thing to where it asks you to put in your name so that your name will still come up. Apparently that person did not do that, which is okay. You don't have to do it, but I do appreciate you coming out anyway. Those who's watching on my business page, my J Hunter Lee business page, that page is all over the world in so many different countries. I got over 13,000 followers on that page from Belize, Fiji, places in Africa, Ghana, Gambia, you know, over in even in Egypt, Ethiopia. And I even got people watching from Bangladesh and also in India, like New Delhi and Bangalore, India, also. Shout out and say hello to all of those people. And then, of course, I got my personal page. Most of you are probably watching on my personal page right now, on as far as Facebook is concerned. So thank you guys for stopping through. But back to what I was saying, we want to talk about leadership. And there's a movie I saw last week called American Underdog. Most people probably haven't even heard of that movie. I wish they would have done a better job promoting it so that everybody can see that movie. I highly recommend everybody see this movie called American Underdog. What is it about? The movie is about a gentleman by the name of Kurt Warner, Hall of Fame quarterback who played for two teams in the NFL. He played for the Los Angeles Rams, but they were Los Angeles at that time before they moved. They were the Rams, and he also played for the Cardinals. He had a hard, long road, right? And remember, I want you to, as I talk about his story, about this, I'm not going to tell the movie, but probably little bits and pieces of the movie, but I highly recommend you go see the movie, folks. When he in this movie, he was an undrafted quarterback. He played, I forgot where he played college ball, done very well there, but he didn't get drafted. I guess he played for a small school where they didn't recognize, he wasn't being noticed. After college, he looked for the NFL to call him. He never got a call from the NFL. He met a young lady at a bar, dancing, doing some line dancing, some like country line dancing. And he was very, very interested in her, right? Let me take this off, by the way, because it's not like I'm speaking in this thing, so you guys can hear me. I'm speaking directly to my microphone there. He met her, and he ended up living with her because he couldn't make ends meet. He was waiting on his dream to come true, playing football. He wanted to play football since he was a child. The movie starts off with him as a child dreaming to play football. His friends wanted to play video games. He wanted to play football. Okay. He met this young lady, they've been out a few times, and he was very tenacious in having this woman in his life. He never got a call from the NFL. He ended up living with her. Okay. Living with her. He started work at a grocery store. I mean, boxes of cereal and oranges and apples. I mean, literally in a grocery store, working at a grocery store, right? And what he did was worked and worked and worked, and he turned down an offer from a guy who owned his own arena league football. Arena league is very, very small space in arena league football. You only have 50 yards instead of 100 yards. 50 yards before you can reach it. That's how long the field is. He turned him down because he said he's waiting on the NFL. He turned down the guy's offer to play arena league football. He saw arena league as some garbage league. He talked bad about it. I don't want to play in a league like that. I want the NFL. But the NFL never called him. The NFL never called him. They ended up moving into another house together, him and his lady and her two kids. And one of her two kids were handicapped, blind, legally blind. So they went into another house together. It was so cold, the electric went out, the power went out, and they had to drive his truck like miles to try to find ways to keep the house up, keep the house warm. The truck run out of gas. He had to run like a mile or two back to a gas station to get gas and run back. And his lady and her two kids are in the truck freezing. After that moment, he said, you know what? I need to go and try this arena league football thing out. So he went to the arena league football. He struggled with it at first because it's different playing arena league versus playing in a regular football league. The difference is Arena League is much more faster. You only have 2 to 3 seconds to get rid of the football once you drop back to throw a pass. He was used to doing it the football way, the regular football way. He kept getting sacked. He kept getting knocked out of the, and his coach was like, you know what? I'm going to make him be a pocket passer because he keep running around when he don't need to. So he would stand back in the pocket, throw the ball, keep throwing the ball, and keep throwing the ball, right? Until he learned how to stand in the pocket and throw that football instead of running around. Very impressive story, folks. I'm telling you, it's very, very impressive. So, and I have a disconnect down here on my laptop. I don't know what happened down here. So we still live here, folks. So just bear with me here. I'll have that coming back up in a sec. So I'll be able to see who's on and who's watching. I'll be able to see all this stuff. So, folks, listen. He started doing very good in Arena Football League. Started doing very good. Now, what happened was he ended up trying out for the Green Bay Packers. He had got with someone who got him a tryout with the Green Bay Packers back when Brett Favre was their starting quarterback. He was going to come in as a backup to Brett Favre. They had already like 3 or 4 other quarterbacks out there practicing when he got there. So he stood on the side. How you doing, Quintina Lee? Thank you for stopping through. Thank you for stopping through. So when he got there, the coach of the Green Bay Packers asked him, okay, let's go. Get up there. Let's get ready for your turn to go out there and run these drills, run these plays. Kurt Warner at the time told him, sir, I don't know the plays. I need some more time to learn the plays. And he told him again, Kurt, get out there. Let's go. Sir, but I don't know the plays. I need to learn the plays. So guess what? He called another quarterback to get out there and play. So after practice, he called Kurt Warner to his office and told Kurt Warner, leave your playbook. Thank you. Good luck to you. And Kurt Warner said, coach, you going to get rid of me? He said, yeah, I told you to get out there and play. And you didn't get out there and play. So Kurt Warner said, well, I didn't know the play. Sorry, coach didn't want to hear all that. He wanted you to get out there and show him what you can do. He don't care if you didn't know the playbook or not. He wanted you to get out there and run the play to the best of your ability. So you got to understand, folks, when you are, for instance, when I started school in cybersecurity, right? When I started school with cybersecurity, I walk in the door. What's up to my cuz? What's up, cousin Buzzin? Cornelius Pittman. Good to see you, cuzzo. When I started school in cybersecurity back in last July, right? Before I started school, they had me do a test. I failed that test the first time. Next time they called me back and said, no, you didn't pass it. So they gave me another test. It was the same test, but it wasn't the same questions and everything, the same problems in the test. And I ended up passing it the second time because I knew what to expect. See, that goes back to the 4 phases of learning that I told you guys about a week or 2 ago, right? Excuse me. So I passed it the second time and I got into school. Now I'm finishing up my cybersecurity class. So I'm excited about that, right? So, but the fact of the matter is they don't care what you don't know. They want to know what you do know so they can know how to enhance you, know how to advance you, right? So, so in that regard, folks, he didn't get out there with Green Bay in practice. And when they told him to get out there, that's right, cuzzo. So they cut him. He didn't even make 2 days with the Green Bay Packers and they cut him. After they cut him, he went back home to try to find another job, ended up working, playing football in the Arena League football, right? He failed. And you're probably wondering, what does all this have to do with leadership when you're talking about leadership? And I'm going to get to that as I'm finishing up, this thing with Kurt Warner in this movie, American Underdog. So he started doing very, very well in Arena League football. very well in Arena League football. And they lost their championship game. But finally, somebody walks up to him and says, we've been trying to reach you. And Kurt Warner was like, well, who are you? Guy says, I'm from the St. Louis Rams. Kurt Warner was like, wow, really? And he looked at his coach, and his coach was like, well, they've been trying to reach you. I've been ignoring them. I've been keeping them away from you. Because he loved Kurt Warner playing Arena League football. But he finally said, you know, you need to advance and move on. He got into the NFL again with the Rams. And here's what you really got to understand, folks. Rams at the time had a coach named Dick Vermeil. You guys know Vic Vermeil. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles back in the day when he had a guy named Vince Papale or Vince Papale to try out right off the street from the for the Eagles. And he made the team. He did the same similar thing with Kurt Warner, brought him off the street to see what he can do with the Rams. That same coach. These are two movies that they did with Dick Vermeil as the coach, with the Eagles and with the Rams, where he gave ordinary people an opportunity to live out their dream. Folks, the moral to this part of the story is whenever you have an opportunity, you need to take it. Don't worry about if you don't know certain things, if you haven't done certain things. Take it. You never know where that opportunity would take you. You have to seize the opportunity and take advantage of the opportunity and do everything you have to succeed with that opportunity. You understand what I'm saying, folks? So with that being said, Kurt Warner ended up making the team. But before he made the team, there was an offensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator for the Rams at the time, his name was Mike Martz. Mike Martz. When Mike Martz was the offensive coordinator, but he acted like he didn't like Kurt Warner. He yelled at Kurt Warner. He told Kurt Warner he wasn't crap. He even brought up the fact that Kurt Warner only made it for 2 days with the Green Bay Packers when he tried out for them. He treated Kurt Warner like some pure crap. When Kurt Warner was in practice, the center hikes him the ball, but he didn't hike him the ball right. So Kurt Warner ended up dropping the ball because it wasn't hiked to him right. The offensive coordinator, Mike Martz, went over to Kurt Warner and said, "Don't you drop my football again." He got in Kurt Warner's face very, very hard. And it wasn't Kurt Warner's fault. He knew it wasn't Kurt Warner's fault. The head coach, Dick Vermeil, knew it wasn't Kurt Warner's fault. And one of the wide receivers named Isaac Bruce, he knew that it wasn't Kurt Warner's fault. Kurt Warner knew it wasn't his fault. Everybody knew it wasn't his fault. But he yelled at Kurt Warner. Why did he yell at Kurt Warner? He yelled at Kurt Warner because Kurt Warner is supposed to assume the leadership of that offense. Kurt Warner didn't fold. Kurt Warner didn't tell the coach, it wasn't my fault. He didn't hike the ball right. He didn't do that because the moment he'd done that, he would have threw his men under the bus that have to go to war with him. The same guy that have to block for him, that have to hike him the ball, he would have threw him under the bus if he'd have done that. But that's not what he did. He said, "Yes, sir, coach. It won't happen again." He took, even if it wasn't his fault, he took responsibility for it. And that's what politicians must do. Stop blaming stuff on previous administration. It might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. You guys understand what I'm saying? That is what leadership is all about. It's not always about what is your fault, what's not your fault. Just assume the damn responsibility. This is what makes leaders. That's what leadership is, people. A gentleman by the name of John C. Maxwell. John C. Maxwell, look him up. He wrote a book called The 5 Levels of Leadership. Let me tell you what he said, what a leader is. And I love this definition, by the way. John C. Maxwell said, a leader is a person that people follow because they want to, not because they have to. And those of you right now who are managers at work, you need to understand what leadership is. I would challenge every manager to find this book. It's 2 books. One is called The 5 Levels of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. The other, those 5 levels of leadership, came out of a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I highly recommend anybody who is in management at your job or a business owner to read those books. I highly recommend you, and I challenge you to read those books. So with that being said, people, you got to understand this. When he assumed that leadership role and told coach, yes, sir, that won't happen again, even if it wasn't his fault that the center didn't hike him the ball right? Even if it wasn't his fault, he assumed the leadership role. Trent Green was the starter quarterback of the Rams. Trent Green came from and was drafted by the Washington Redskins. Now the team was called the Washington Redskins at the time. Now they're the Washington football team until this coming Wednesday. They're going to reveal their new name. Trent Green came from the Redskins, got picked up by the Rams. The Rams picked him up. He was starting quarterback. So Kurt Warner was the guy who was going to start behind Trent Green. Trent Green ended up tearing his ACL in his leg. And Kurt Warner had to step up to be the new starting quarterback for the Rams. Mike Martz called Kurt Warner into his office. And he chewed into Kurt Warner again. He said everything negative about Kurt Warner and told Kurt Warner, he said, why should I trust you to lead this team? And Kurt Warner said, because he's ready. He said he's ready. He said he's been dreaming of this opportunity his whole life. And he gave his spiel to offensive coordinator Mike Martz at the time why he was ready. And Mike Martz dismissed him out of his office. Got on the phone with the head coach, Dick Vermeil, and told Dick Vermeil he's ready. So, folks, with that being said, when Kurt Warner went out there and started, his first game was against the Ravens. Ray Lewis sacked him. Ray Lewis was in his head, trying to get in his head, talk trash to him. He wore the Ravens out in that game. They went all the way that season and won the Super Bowl. At that time, the Rams was known as the greatest show on turf. Why was they the greatest show on turf? Because they ran an offense called the Air Coryell, which came from Don Coryell from the Chargers back in the day. That's where Coach Joe Gibbs came from. North Turner come from they run that same offense called the Air Coryell. That system worked to a perfection because they had the right players to operate that offensive system in. And it was a sight to see. If you look at the Rams with Kurt Warner's first year as the Rams, look it up, go to YouTube. That offense was that was the most magnificent, most prettiest ran offense ever in football history. That's why they called it the greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner. So with that being said, folks, this is what you got to understand. And this is what's beautiful about that. Won the Super Bowl, not just because it's talent. He won the Super Bowl because of his leadership. He was a leader of men. Kurt Warner is an Hall of Famer right now. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. That's a beautiful story that's made of him. It's about leadership. So coming down to you guys, everything is not going to be your fault as to why something didn't go well. Everything is not going to be your fault as to why you did not succeed. Everything is going to go well because you failed. And it may or may not even be your fault, but you assume the leadership and you make things happen. You make things happen. If you don't have the ability to do it, then get the ability to do it. When my project, the building cities overseas, got delayed due to the country's policies on what they need to do, I said, well, I'm going to go to school during this time for cybersecurity and finish that up. So with that being said, folks, I stayed active. Leaders is not somebody that just sit around and just wait on things to happen for them. They make things happen. There are three types of people in life, folks. Let me share what these are. There are three types of people. The first person make things happen. The second person is waiting on something to happen. And the third person don't know what's happening. So which one are you? So now here's the key, folks. You may or may not be one of those three, but you can be that first one, the one that make things happen. Even if you're that person that's waiting on something to happen, you need to be around people that make things happen. Surround yourself with those people, because those are energies that are contagious. Those are things that is very, very can rub off on you. If you're the person who don't know what's happening, you need to be around people that make things happen, so that you can know what's happening and so that you can make the difference to make things happen. Those are the three types of people. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Who do you spend your time around the most? Who are the top 5 or top 10 contacts in your cell phone right now? What type of conversations are you having with people? Are you talking about other people? Or are you talking about vision, ideas, how you can make the world different, how you can be an impact in other people's lives? That's what leadership do. That's what leaders do. They talking about how to make things better. They don't talk about other people in negative ways. They don't have time for it. They don't even have time to even hear about it or to even know about it. You hear some people are so successful or so into their own grind. Soon as you want to come to them and talk about, such and something, man, I don't want to hear about that. I ain't got time for that. They spending time on their grind. If all people have to do is talk about other people, complain about life all the time, they ain't got nothing going on for themselves. That, my friend, is called misery. And if you hang around those people, you will be miserable too. This is why Dr. Dennis Kimbrough said once, if you are hanging around 9 broke people, eventually you'll be number 10. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. But if you hang around leaders, you'll become a leader. And you become a leader by becoming a great follower. You didn't understand, you didn't know that being a great follower equates to being a great leader, did you? You have to be willing to follow. This is why men who are great leaders, when they want their spouse, they want a submissive woman. They don't want a woman to be submissive. There's a difference. They don't want a woman to be submissive. That man wants a submissive woman. One is from the core, and one is from act. We don't need you to act submissive. We need you to be a submissive woman, meaning that you are submissive from the core. So when he masters his masculinity, you will by default fall into your femininity. Something to think about. That is a leader. And being submissive does not make you any less of a leader. Doesn't make you any less of a leader. Being a follower does not make you any less of a leader. That's how leaders are born. You have to follow before you can lead. You just can't come out and say you're a leader or you're just going to lead. You can't do that. You got to learn the values, the core values of leadership. That's why I told you, those of you who are in management, look up those books, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership and the 5 Levels of Leadership by the same author, John C. Maxwell. Hope this is making sense to you folks. I just got the link. I saw the link just popped up. So we got class tonight. I thought we didn't have class because we was waiting on the Zoom link. So I'm getting ready to go to class. I want to thank you guys for stopping through. I got 3 favors to ask you. The first favor is to see across the bottom of my screen, you see my my Cash App ID, $J Hunter Lee. Why am I asking you about the Cash App? Because I only ask you to donate $20 or less towards our podcast. I bring you the content. I'm doing the work. So all I do is ask that you donate to the podcast. Hope you can do that. Listen, I don't need a whole lot of money. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for $40, $50, $60, $100. If you send me that much money, I promise you I will reject it. I will return it. Why? I'm not asking for your money. I don't need your money. I'm okay. Asking is that you donate to the podcast, $20 or less. It's strictly for the podcast. Why? Eventually, we might have some new equipment upgrades. Okay. May eventually have new lighting, new camera, everything like that. So you never know what we may need in the future. So that's all I'm asking you to do is donate to the podcast, $20 or less. It's $J Hunter Lee. That's my Cash App ID. So with that being said, folks, I want you to do number 2, share the video. Even if it wasn't for you, share it anyway. Could be for somebody that you do know that this video can help. And third, I want you to do me one bigger favor, and that is to sing like no one can hear you. Dance like no one can see you. Love like you've never been hurt. And live like it's heaven on earth. I'm J Hunter Lee. I love you, and the world needs you. So stop that damn texting and driving. Peace and blessings, folks. Have a great day.